Have you ever looked out of an airplane window at night and just seen, well, nothing, just pure inky blackness? For us as passengers, it's kind of peaceful, right? But for the pilot up front, that void is one of the single greatest challenges in all of aviation. So how do they do it? How do they turn that absolute emptiness into a perfect landing on a runway they can't even see? Well, let's get into it.
Okay, so this is the view from the office. On a good night, with a bright moon and clear skies, it's not all that different from flying in the daytime. But on a cloudy night, over the ocean or some remote dark patch of land, the horizon, the ground, every single visual cue you rely on, they're just gone. It is literally like flying inside a sealed black box.
So, that's the big question, isn't it? How do pilots navigate this total sensory deprivation? It's not magic, I promise you. It's this incredible combination of understanding human biology, fighting psychology, and using some truly, truly brilliant technology.
And the story really starts not in the cockpit, but inside the pilot's own body. Before a pilot can even think about trusting their instruments, they have to understand the built-in limitations of their own eyes and how they actually adapt to the dark.
So check this out. Inside your eye, there's this amazing switch that flips when the lights go out. During the day, you're using your cone cells. Those are the things that give you sharp, crisp, colorful vision. But at night, they basically just clock out, and the rod cells take over. Now, rods are fantastic at picking up even the faintest glimmer of light, but the trade-off is huge. They don't see color, and their vision is kind of blurry. Your eye literally has to sacrifice clarity just to get some sensitivity.
And here's where it gets really dangerous, because all those high-definition cone cells are packed right into the center of your vision, and they don't work in the dark. You get a blind spot. A blind spot right in the middle of where you're looking. The one place you are used to focusing on becomes completely useless at night.
And here you can see exactly why that happens. See that little area in the back of the eye, the fovea? That's your high-res sensor. It is crammed with cone cells, which is great for daytime, but at night it becomes a physiological black hole. If a pilot stares directly at a distant light, poof, it can completely vanish into that blind spot.
So how on earth do they deal with that? Well, they have to learn a whole new way to see, using a technique called off-center vision. Instead of looking right at something, they're trained to look about 10 degrees off to the side or above it or below it. This puts the image onto the part of their retina that's full of those light-sensitive rod cells. They keep their eyes moving, constantly scanning, never staring at one spot for more than a couple of seconds. It's a total rewiring of how we naturally see the world.
But it's not just about what you can't see. The problems get way weirder. It's about how your brain, starved for good information, can actually start to lie to you. Night flying becomes a battle against some really powerful visual illusions that can fool anyone.
Okay, this is a classic and very dangerous one. A pilot might see a long, straight stretch of highway lights down below, and their brain, desperately trying to make sense of the darkness, says, "Hey, that looks like the horizon." Or a random smattering of lights on a farm could look just like a constellation of stars.
And the result of that confusion is absolutely terrifying. A pilot might start to correct the airplane's wings to be level with that fake horizon, putting the plane into a steep, dangerous bank without having any idea they're doing it. This is where you learn the #1 rule. Trust your instruments, not your own lying eyes.
All right, this next one will really bake your noodle. It's called the reversible perception illusion. At night, you see a single light from another plane. You don't have any of the normal cues for depth perception. So, is that light getting smaller because the plane is flying away from you, or is it just a dim light on a plane that is actually flying right at you? You get that wrong, and the consequences are, well, you can imagine.
The solution, thankfully, is a simple, universal language of light that every pilot understands. Every single aircraft has a red light on its left wingtip, a green light on its right, and a white light on its tail. By just seeing that pattern of colors, a pilot knows instantly which way the other plane is going. And to make it even easier, pilots use this simple little phrase to remember the rule. If you're flying along and you see another plane's red light on your right side, it means you're looking at its left wing. That plane is returning, or heading towards you, or crossing your path. Red on right, returning. It's a simple phrase that absolutely saves lives.
So we've talked about the biological tricks and the psychological traps. Now let's get to the really cool part, the ingenious technological solutions. Airports have created this entire visual language, made completely out of light, to basically draw a map in the sky for pilots.
And the best part is how simple it is. You don't need a complex code book. Each color has one job and one job only. White lights, that's your runway. See blue lights? Those are the taxiways, so you never ever mistake one for the other. Green means go, that's the very beginning of the runway where it's safe to touch down, and red always means stop, that's the end of the line. It's a universal code that works anywhere in the world. But wait, it gets even smarter than that. The lights don't just tell you where the runway is, they tell you how much of it is left. As you're landing on a big runway, the white edge lights suddenly turn yellow to warn you you're in the last 2,000 feet. At the same time, the lights down the center go from solid white to alternating red and white, and then to solid red for the final 1,000 feet. It's a brilliant visual countdown telling you to hit the brakes. Okay, so all of this, the biology, the psychology, the technology, it all comes together for the most critical few seconds of any flight, the final approach and landing. All those scanning techniques and lighting systems bring the pilot to this single moment, guided by one very special set of lights that gives them the most important piece of information they need.
It's called the PAPI. That stands for Precision Approach Path Indicator. It's just a simple row of 4 lights, usually off to the left of the runway, and its only job is to answer one question and one question only. Are you coming in at the correct angle?
And this right here, this is what a pilot wants to see. 2 white lights and 2 red lights. That is the visual sweet spot. It tells the pilot they are perfectly on the standard 3-degree glide path, coming in for a safe, stable landing. It means you are exactly where you need to be.
And the system gives you instant, no-nonsense feedback. If you start seeing more white lights than red, you're coming in too high. 3 white lights, you're a little high. 4 white lights, you're way too high. And the opposite is true too. If you see more red lights, you're getting low. 3 red is a warning, and 4 red lights means you are dangerously, dangerously low. Pilots have a very blunt way of remembering this. It's an unforgettable little phrase that leaves absolutely no room for misinterpretation. The PAPI gives you immediate life or death information in the simplest way possible.
So when you put it all together, you see that conquering the darkness isn't about having superhuman vision or just being a daredevil. It's about having this deep understanding of your own human limitations, having a healthy dose of skepticism for what your own brain is telling you, and then putting your complete trust in a brilliantly designed system of lights that speaks a clear, simple, and life-saving language.
So the next time you're on a night flight, as you're coming in for a landing, look out the window. And don't just look for the runway. Look for that little row of red and white lights. Because now you'll know you're not just looking at lights. You're watching a beautiful conversation in a language of light, a pilot and a machine, working together to bring you safely back down to Earth.